of the well of the chamber. This marks the bar of the house. The face of the bar is engraved with intricate designs traditionally symbolic of intrepidity, perpetuity, and prosperity. No one other than an elected representative is allowed to cross this bar except the Secretary General's staff who are attached to the chamber. In the upper portion of the chamber is a raised gallery for the public, capable of seating 600 persons, with standing accommodation for many more. Immediately opposite the Speaker's chair is the Speaker's gallery. This gallery is reserved for privileged visitors. The press is accommodated in the gallery above the Speaker's chair. Quorum bells, which ring out like the singing of a salalinia or a grackle, are fixed in various parts of the building, and these are activated from the Speaker's table in his office and the Secretary General's table in the chamber. Parliamentary sittings commence with the arrival of the Speaker. The Sergeant-at-Arms leads the way carrying the mace, followed by the Deputy Sergeant-at-Arms. A procession made up of the Secretary General, his deputies, and the Speaker makes its way to the chamber. As soon as the Speaker enters the chamber, the Deputy Sergeant-at-Arms makes it known to everyone present that the Speaker has arrived. The Speaker occupies a special chair kept at a higher elevation. When the Parliament is in session, the mace is kept in the upper bracket on the Speaker's table. The mace, the symbol of authority of the Parliament, was gifted to Ceylon's House of Representatives in 1949 by the British House of Commons. The mace is composed of a staff of ebony with ornamentation in silver, 18-karat gold, and sapphires. When the House is in a committee stage, the mace is kept on the lower bracket below the Secretary General's table. It is the Sergeant-at-Arms who is the custodian of the mace and who maintains the discipline in the House. The business of Parliament is conducted according to the standing orders of the Parliament in the following order. Swearing in of a new member. A new member should be sworn in or affirmed before the Speaker, after which his name is entered in the register and he is allocated a seat according to his seniority in Parliament. Communications from the President. Messages from the President on important public matters are sent to Parliament and are read out in the House by the Speaker.
නිකුත් කරන ලද ප්‍රකාශනයෙන් මා විසින් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ සන්නද්ධ හමුදාවල සියලුම සමාජිකයන් දිවයිනේ සියලුම කතානායකතුමාගේ නිවේදනය.
Announcements from the Speaker. The most frequent announcements relate to the certification of bills, the demise of a member of Parliament, the reference of bills to provincial councils, and so on. Presentation of papers and reports from the committees. Papers may be presented only by the Speaker, a minister, or a deputy minister. Committees. A major portion of the work of any legislature is done by its committees. They have been established under the standing orders. While the main chamber of the House is the forum on which public interest is focused, the committee is the place where members attend to the detailed and specialized work relating to government plans and activities. A committee can also meet on any day at the convenience of its members. A committee is also able to summon experts and other relevant witnesses in helping them to arrive at their decisions. Many different committees can function at the same time, whereas in the main assembly only one matter may be taken up at a particular time. The Parliament of Sri Lanka has 4 types of committees, such as select committees, consultative committees, standing committees, and committees for special purposes. Petitions. The public petition enables a citizen to bring to the notice of Parliament the flaws in the administrative machinery of the government and seek redress for grievances suffered. Questions. Questions are notified beforehand and are included in the order paper to be answered by the relevant ministers. Usually, about 15 oral questions are answered by government ministers each day. Votes of condolence. By convention, Parliament always passes votes of condolence on the demise of its former members. Motion for leave of absence. Leave is granted to members of Parliament by agreement of the House on a motion. Ministerial statements. Ministers are entitled to make statements on subjects that come within their ministerial responsibility. Personal explanations. Any member against whom criticism or comments of a personal nature have been made is entitled to make a personal explanation, even though there is no motion before the House. Questions of privileges. Parliamentary privileges are those attached to Parliament in order to enable it to function freely, effectively, and independently without obstruction. For this purpose, the members of Parliament need to be given special rights which other citizens may not claim. Public business. Public business means the orders of the day and motions. It includes bills, motions for the passage of regulations, supplementary estimates, and so on. The Constitution vests in the Parliament the primary legislative power to make laws, including laws having retrospective effect and those repealing, adding to, or amending any provision of the Constitution itself. All legislative proposals have to be introduced in Parliament in the form of bills. There are different procedures for the passage of different kinds of bills, such as government bills, private members' bills, and urgent bills, and so on. A government bill can only be presented by a minister of the cabinet or a deputy minister. They originate with their formulation in a government ministry or department, and it is referred to the legal draftsman for the preparation of the official draft bill. It is the duty of the Attorney General to examine every bill for any contravention of constitutional provisions. His opinion and the draft bill are then forwarded to the Cabinet of Ministers. Upon receipt of the Cabinet approval, the bill is ready to be published in the Gazette and referred to the Parliament for enactment. Thus, notice is given to the public of the intention to bring the bill before Parliament for its passage into law. At least 7 days after the publication in the Gazette, the bill may be placed in the order paper of Parliament, and on a day so appointed, it will be presented by the relevant minister. Under Standing Order 45, the second reading of a bill shall be taken up on a date not earlier than a week after the presentation. That's the first reading. The second reading of a bill is the main debate, where members express their views on the subject. The second reading should encompass wide-ranging discussions on the principles and scope of the bill. A debate on the second reading would usually last 1 day, but may extend in some instances to many days. The minister in charge of the bill should introduce the bill and wind up the debate at the end of the second reading. During the second reading, amendments may be proposed. Following the vote on the second reading, a bill may either be referred to the committee of the whole House or to a standing committee on bills. It is almost invariably the practice for government bills to be committed to a committee of the whole House, because a bill can be passed more expeditiously in such a committee. The third reading of a bill is for the approval of the overall contents of the bill, with the committee stage amendments, and at this stage only verbal or drafting amendments and numbering of sections and so on may be done, and that too on a motion made. It is usual for the minister at the third reading to seek the approval of the House to make consequential amendments. At the stage of certification, the bill should be prepared in strict compliance with the amendments accepted by the House at the committee stage. The Speaker has the power at this stage